Good morning. My name is Linsey Jarrett, and I had an amazing privilege to go with our church to Tijuana, Mexico in March, and this trip was truly life-changing. We went to Tijuana to partner with Spectrum Ministries, and they believe that Christians aren't just in this world to be hearers of the word, but that we are called to be doers of the word as well. By this, we gain credibility in sharing our faith. We fed 2 orphanages, built a house, poured a foundation, and fed people who actually live in the dump. One very special day, called Bath Day, changed my life for the better. We drove to an outdoor basketball court where the lines were already forming. Boys were on one side, girls were on the other. The children would come in and get their hair washed, brushed. We would wash their feet and they would get new clothes. What I found out is for many of these families, they had to walk 3 or more miles just to get there. And that this may be the only bath that they receive for a month, depending on where they live. My task for the day was to wash each child's feet that came through the tent. And at first I'm thinking, I do not know Spanish. This is so awkward. What am I going to do in this uncomfortable silence? And I began to panic, and I was in a strange place. I didn't know their language. I'm staring at dirty little faces everywhere, and I became nervous about my ability to do what Jesus wanted me to do. I sat down on a 2-inch block, and I prepared for my first child. This little girl came over and sat down in front of me and smiled the sweetest, most sincere smile. Immediately, I started to cry, and I bent my head down. I was so overwhelmed, and I didn't want her to be uncomfortable by me crying all over her. As I bent my head, I said a quick prayer and dried up my tears. And when I looked up again, I stared deep into her innocent little eyes, and I smiled the biggest smile I could. I began to wash and massage her feet. It tickled at times, and both of us would start to laugh together. I dried her feet. I gave her new socks and shoes, but before sending her or any little girl to the next station, I gave hugs if welcomed, or a touch or a pat. With every touch and smile, I could feel my entire body just beaming with love and joy. I couldn't control it if I wanted to. My body had been taken over by the Holy Spirit. I could feel it, and so could each child that sat there before me. My very tall body sat on a 2-inch block, and all day long, all I felt was pure joy. Before I went on this trip, I was a worry-wart. I worried about everything. Even give me your worries. I would gladly take them on. I tried to pray to God and turn my worries over to Him, but I immediately took them back. Now, I know we all have problems, and sometimes we think our problems are bigger than the next person's. But while I was washing these little girls' feet, my whole world, my worries, my life, it never crossed my mind. I was provided for, and so was every child that sat before me. To feel the Holy Spirit work through me was the first step of my life-changing experience. The next phase of this was coming home. I was beyond thrilled to be in my own home with my sweet family, seeing my friends again, and being with my church family. But in the days and weeks that followed, I became more aware of this special moment in Tijuana and the effect that it had on me with the ups and downs of my life. My worries, my frustrations, what I thought was so huge, now was not so big. I have felt a comfort and peace about the storms in my life. My troubles have not gone away, nor will they, but this trip has brought a light in my life that cannot be put out, and I am so thankful. We go on mission trips in hopes of Jesus, us being Jesus' hands and feet in the world. We hope that we can feed someone who is hungry, or build a house for someone who needs one, or give clothes to someone that doesn't have them. Sometimes we go just to show somebody that they are loved. When we were in the orphanage, the most important thing I did was play with the children, hug on them, and love on them. But we also go on mission trips hoping that God will change us, that He will change our hearts for this world and His people in it. We hope that we will come back changed and that we will live our lives a little differently when we return, that we will be a little more aware of the needs right here around us, and that we will be more thankful for the blessings we all have. Our church has a wonderful, wonderful missions program. In the last year, we have sent teams to Cuba, Costa Rica, Tijuana, and Appalachia. I encourage you all to be a part of these teams in the coming year, either as a supporter or someone who goes on the trip. I promise you, you will not only be blessing the people you serve, but you will be blessed even more than you can imagine. Thank you.